that's why I think this meeting is so important, and the climate strike, this year's global climate strike on 25th of March, is becoming more and more meaningful and more important. That's why I would love to thank and introduce you our speakers. First of all, Fridays for Future Climatestrike Switzerland. We have young activist Maret Gentinetta, Marvin Allen, and Lergen. Thank you all for coming here today. And Fridays for Future Netherlands, Liv Straat. And we have a young climate activist from Turkey, Gökçe Arslan. And I will be the facilitator, Nuray Onuk. I'm from the Green Left Climate Crisis Working Group. And we have Çiğdem Özbaş and Işıl Demirkan as our interpreters. I would like to thank them for doing our simultaneous translation. And we have Simin Gürdal, and thank you for her technical support. So we may start our meeting now. The first thing is I would like our speakers, our contributors to introduce themselves and their organizations and local works that they're doing in their countries. Yes, first of all, maybe Maret can take.
Hi, everybody. I'm Maret, and I'm active in Climatestrike Switzerland. I think Marvin is going to present our movement. So I think, Marvin, you can continue and say something about Climatestrike Switzerland.
Yes, we are, like, Switzerland is a really small country in the mountains, kind of. So we have 4 different language regions, just for you to have a context of it. And these language regions also have different cultures, kind of. And still we have one movement, climate strike movement, over these regions in this country. And we are mainly a youth movement, like the chapter of Fridays for Future. And at the moment, we are mainly attacking like new gas power plant projects. And also, this will also be our main theme for the global strike, people not profit. We really say we don't want new gas power plants and fossil fuel power plants at all. Yes, please feel free to add something new, Maret and Meta. Yeah.
Thank you. Maret and Meta, would you like to add something? No?
Yes.
Okay.
So, hello, everybody. My name is Meta. I'm from Switzerland as well. And I just I just wanted to add that we have many topics that we work on, many working groups. Also, there's working groups for the banks and other things, but Maret will tell more about it. But it's true, at the moment, the gas plants are really a topic, yes.
Okay, thank you, Meta. And Maret, would you like to add something that these banks?
It's fine.
No? Yeah, okay.
Maybe how we are structured and organized, like we have like the local groups, and this Climatestrike Switzerland is really every group has as much to say, and also like basic grassrooted organized. And so we don't really have a structure or any paid work or anything that holds it together, but the local chapters who come together as Climatestrike Switzerland. And there are around 25 regional groups, and in these regional groups there are also even more local groups organized, around 120, I would say. Yeah, which are really local and then also organize themselves in the region again.
And the thing is, for example, in Turkey, all age groups are interested in climate activism, and it's mostly like eco-socialism parts, especially adults or older people from the left organizations. They became also ecological activists. And the thing is, what I want to ask you, you're also young, and how is it, and you all work voluntarily, right? You're activists and you're volunteer for that. What about the elder ones in Switzerland? How is the climate there? Are they interested in that? Or because sometimes in here, people find it childish, you know, some, how can I say that, they don't take it much seriously, but I would like to know how is it going there? Okay, whoever wants to answer.
Rita?
Yes. So I think for one part, there's also like adults that are active in the climate movement, but it's not really in Climatestrike because it's like a youth movement, and also portrayed. The media also says it's like the climate youth, which we don't like, but yes. But more, I think most adults that are active are like maybe in, I don't know, Greenpeace or something, like in an institution group. And the population in general, I think in Switzerland we have the biggest party is a right-wing party. Of course, we have a democratic system, but still there's many people that don't agree or that think we can solve the climate crisis with innovation and that kind of things. But since the climate strikes, I think it's been more a topic, but they just often it's just they make money out of it and they like greenwash their things. But there's also been, yeah, it's been a topic also. I think it's been taken seriously, I think.
And now, thank you all, guys. Thank you, Switzerland. Now we have Liv and Gökçe, also there are speakers. Now I would like to ask Liv to introduce herself. So are you here, Liv?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, great.
Yes, definitely. Hi, yes, I'm Liv from Fridays for Future, the Netherlands. And yes, our organization is actually a little different, I would say, from Switzerland structure-wise. We have actually like a big national group that organizes a lot of things. And then we have a few local groups, but a lot of people from the local groups are also active in the national group. So that group organizes most of the like big things we do. I would say we mostly do a lot of marches. And so, for example, we're also going to do like a school strike, of course, for the next for the 5th of March. And I guess the goal of our organization, I guess, is a little more, usually a little more, how we should say it. We don't usually specifically attack one company or one thing, but it's more like towards all the companies or towards all the governments. So right now we want to do more. Sorry, we want to call to all companies to choose people over profit, or attack all companies more as a whole, who are like polluting right now. Yes, we do mostly a lot of big marches. We're mostly really directed toward high school youth, so people around the ages from like 11 till 18, 20. Our movement has mostly a lot of young people, not some students, but there's a more separate student movement in the Netherlands.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Anything else would you like to add? No? Okay. No, okay. Now, Gökçe, are you here with us still?
Yes, I'm here. Hi,
Okay.
everyone. I'm Gökçe. I'm part of Climate for Turkey. It was actually originally Fridays for Future Turkey, but some incidents led us to like separate it from there. But still, we are working for the same aim. So, actually, a few years ago, Turkey has only like one organization, which was Fridays for Future Turkey. However, as the years passed, even more people, including the youth, adults, and children, as Nuray said, become aware of the red alarms Earth giving to us, and therefore, besides FFF, many organizations launch. And we are different organizations or like groups of people, but I really like to think that we are always in cooperation and always like conducting projects together and do organizations together. So I can say that now Turkey is full of with various groups of people working really hard for the same aim, saving our future. In Climate for Turkey, right now, as most of we are focusing on, we're focused on the 25th March strike. And we are actually not working on it all by ourselves. We are actually doing it as the whole Turkey's activists. And it also including like some adults who are not, who are like, I'm not sure, maybe Maret mentioned it, but from institutions, they're really helping us for the, when we are contacting with the city hall and all. So yes, it's mostly like that. And maybe I can also add something on the structure as Marvin did. We also have like locals around the Turkey, and we have subgroups like media organizations and all. So yes, basically like that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Gökçe. Now, at the second part, I would like to talk about the global north and global south. I'm sure you're all familiar with these words. And the thing is, what I would like to ask, if you believe it is possible to be a real global activist, because the thing is, the gap between the global north and the global south is becoming wider and wider every passing day, because the system becomes more and more cruel every passing day. So the thing is, when we think about the northern countries, their issues, their problems and the circumstances are so different than the south. For example, in Turkey, we are still dealing with some really basic problems like human rights, like women rights, LGBTI rights, as I'm sure you're all familiar, the situation in Turkey. And when we think about, for example, Middle East, when we think about Africa, it's the food security, and there are people who even can't find clean water. They're dealing with all this stuff. And what I want to know, what I want to learn now is, if you really believe that it is possible to create a real global activism, is it possible? And if it's possible, how is it possible? So, anybody who would like to answer? Okay.
Maybe we can start with what's actually the north and the south for our like audience. When we are saying north and south, we are actually like talking about the developed and kind of non-developed countries. It's not something only determined by the Earth's equator. For instance, Turkey is in the north hemisphere, but is seen as a part of south countries. But like creating a change requires a lot of global effort. But to be realistic, I don't think we can just like want each country to become eco-friendly suddenly and want the same thing from all of them. However, it doesn't mean only that one part should be changed either. Like 6 extinction is its own way, and everyone should be aware of this situation, take precautions, and act up against it. What I really meant is, I think there should be like a plan to show us the right time to what to do and when to do. And in this plan, I think we should start with the North countries, as they're the developed ones, and making the most of the the harmful production and all.
Thank you, Gökçe. Anybody else would like to add something or say something?
Well, in Switzerland, I think we have the situation that our country is really, really responsible for a lot of the emissions and just for the climate crisis, because of like many big companies having a residence in Switzerland, and also our finance, our banks, they finance a lot of fossil fuels and really like bad projects. So we are always thinking about how we can make this country responsible for the historic responsibility and like the actual responsibility that it has. And I think we're constantly struggling. I think we haven't managed yet to raise like an awareness for the global issue that climate change has, and for the huge amount of damage that is being done to the global south. So but what I personally noticed that for me it changed, like when I started to get to know international activists, it was like instantly it became a much more important thing for me. I mean, it was important for me before, but when I actually talked to people from all over the world, I couldn't get it out of my head.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in order to be able to have to have a global movement and to do our activism more internationally, we need to connect with each other and talk to each other, because I think that helped me. But I mean, we are still really in the learning process of decolonizing our activism and seeing our state in the international context, which I think like we have a lot of work to do still. And it really, it's for me, it's also really difficult to know how we can achieve this.
Thank you so much. Anybody else would like to add something?
Yes, I would like to add something too. I think something that's very complicated is that countries like, for example, the Netherlands have profited very much of colonization and of like global South countries, and that is part of the reason why we were able to like become so industrialized, and why these countries in the global north are so rich right now. But right now, and that's also the reason why these countries have contributed to most of the emissions. But right now, there are also other countries that are also industrializing fast, and now these countries are like not like it. This will also add to the emissions, of course, but it's also unfair to say like you can industrialize, but we did, and we are rich now because we were able to also like pollute with all these emissions, but this country can't, because then the climate crisis will be, because then climate change. Sorry, I find it hard to explain what I mean, but I'm like basically trying to say like how, what Maret said before, like how will kind of the global north countries be held responsible for their actions in the past, and how will you create like a system in which countries are treated fairly, but also countries can be polluting more emissions into the air right now because it will further the climate catastrophe. So that is a very big problem to me. Like, how do you balance these things, and how do you make sure this is fair? And to me, I personally don't know the answer to this. Because these things, they have become the way they are right now because of like hundreds, thousands of years of history that have come before them. And I think this is like, I mean, we have to continuously try to like understand how these things are working and try to learn from each other's experiences to come to an answer. But I'm not sure like if we are able to come to a full answer.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. And the thing is, okay, when we talk about the globe, the north and the south, and the most of the consumption is made by the northern countries, and okay, at the moment, yes, they reduce their green gas emissions, carbon emissions, great, but they move all their production to the southern countries, and that's why they can reduce their green gas emissions, right? So the thing is, the call that you created for this year's strike is people, not the profit. It has, on one hand, I know you didn't mean that. I'm nearly sure about it, as I know your movement and everything. But on one hand, it has a really political, it's a political speech, in fact, because not profit people means, in fact, is a word, is a speech against the system. And lots of people will take it that way, by the way, will understand it, especially the older ones. They will take it that way. And I want to know if when you thought about this call, or when you heard about it, not profit people, did you think about the political part of it, the meaning, the political meaning of it, and how do you feel about this call? Was I clear? Okay.
So
great.
like first I heard of it, I mean liked it, because when we like take a step back and look at the big picture, everything what damages to earth and also like the people is caused by the actions which are like profit based, who are, I mean, they're done by the people who wants to make like money or get something out of it. So I actually really liked it, and I first thought about the fields like animal agriculture, farming and all. And for example, when we like do farming for, I mean, people, for them to eat and not feel hungry, it's something nice and it's not harmful. But we do animal agriculture or farming for just like profit and make even more production with fertilizers, pesticides, and all the other things like changing the ecosystem and all, it becomes something harmful, and not just for like the animals all itself, for like for all living things. At the end, I mean, like we are all affected from it. So when I first I heard about this, I always like think about this, like how profit-based people are like acting, and we should more act as, not based on what we will get, but based on how we will be affected. So I didn't actually talk about, I didn't actually think about the political side. I was more like at the optimistic side.
Okay, anybody? Thank you, Gökçe, by the way. Anybody else who would like to say something about this?
Yeah,
Dave,
I would
okay.
like to say something. Yeah, I actually also really like people not profit. I think, I mean, I already like knew the saying, so it also wasn't like, I don't know, like I didn't think a lot about it, but I think what is really important about it is that it like does show that we need to have a system change in order to combat climate change, because and I think which is like a large shock to a lot of people, because we are so kind of the whole idea, I guess, of at least here is that profit is like one of the most important things, and it's kind of for people even like a factor of happiness, sort of. So like if you can buy more things, if you can consume more things, that means that you can have better life. And I think but this system of trying to make as much profit and to buy as much stuff, it doesn't go together with the trying to combat the climate crisis. And if we go on like this, we can go on with the system we have right now and also not have climate change. And that is a very hard truth to accept, I think, but I think it is something we have to really show as a climate movement more, because I think there are still a lot of people who think we can just eat a little bit less meat and we can build a few we can put solar panels on the roof and have windmills, and at least that's how like a lot of people in the Netherlands think, but yeah, that's just simply not true. And I think we have to really try to be as clear as possible about that, but even if it like may come as like a shock to people or if they're against it.
Thank you, Liv. Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, I would want to add something. Also what you said first, like developing countries, and that's really a thing that people think, like countries in Europe or maybe USA are not developing anymore, but actually they have to develop much more in a other direction. So I think I would say every territory in this world is developing, and maybe we have to even develop more to achieve what's needed. And because territories like Switzerland are starting to greenwash the whole state and the companies, to do as if they would care now, because that's the only thing I think we have achieved, that they even get into the situation where they need to be like have a green image, but and there it stops. With this image, but what they do behind is where it continues. So this is really one big challenge we also have to face. Like the whole financial place, like the pension funds, the banks themselves, but all investments emit 23 times more emissions than all people who live in Switzerland together. So these financial institutions are responsible for so many emissions, and not only emissions, but also selling weapons. And these dimensions come in addition to the climate dimension. the selling of like then they say, okay, we don't invest in fossil fuels anymore, but then they invest in weapons or something like that.
Thank you, Marvin. Maret or Meta, would you like to add something? Would you like to say?
Yes, I have a short point. So first of all, I just on something you said about like globalization, that we just put the work in other countries and then we say, oh, we're green. And it just made me think also of climate compensation, which is also really like, I don't know, something a lot of companies do now. They say like we compensate the CO2, but it's a big joke, and sometimes they compensate it in countries where it's really like bad for the environment. So that was one point. And also I think like in the movement, a lot of people that were active in Climatestrike like got also a bit more radical kind of, and I think most people understand the slogan, like in our movement, understand this slogan also as a critique to capitalism and like a need for system change, I think. Yes.
And I know I already talked, but I really want to add something, because like when Mita and like Marvin talked about the greenwashing and how industries show themselves green, I actually really want to share an anecdote with you. But I like today I got an email about it. So recently I wrote an article with my friend about changing water habitats in Turkey, and in the email, in a body paragraph, I give examples about how there are some people who are trying to change something and make a difference. And I gave, I really don't want to give the name, but I give an example from a project initiated by a industry, which was actually a, I believe they're making cleaning products and all. So when I shared the article with an news news editor, he said that like, I really would like to share your article, but the project you were talking about is actually a greenwashing, just a greenwashing thing. And I was so disappointed, because I was like talking to them, I already like got a meeting and we talked, and I was just so surprised at how like even we talk with them and you know, I wrote a lot of things about them, they were just all the time greenwashing. And he also like shared some news article with me that shows that how they're actually not a green company. So yes, I was really disappointed, and I would like I want to share that.
Thank you, Gökçe, and thank you, Meta. And okay, Maret, would you like to say anything, or?
Yeah, I mean, the thing you just mentioned, I think some people actually think like that they're doing, I don't think that people who are greenwashing, like some of them, of course, but I think some people just don't know that the solution they're proposing is actually not quite good. And I think like this profit is in so many heads, in so many ideologies, that it's like it's a normal thing. But then I think the slogan "People Not Profit" is really good, because I mean, for me, it's so obvious that obviously like a human life should be worth more than money or than profit. And I mean, I think it's a really powerful statement, because it's actually, it should make sense for everybody, and it should be like clear that people are more important than profit. But somehow it's still like our system still doesn't work like that. And I hope that some people, maybe when they read the slogan, they also think about that and think about, hey, actually our system is not prioritizing people.
Yeah. Thank you, Maret. Okay, if we're finished with that part, then I would like to ask you guys about what you're planning to do on the 25th of March on the global climate strike. What are your plans and how it will be, and how you're organized in your countries, locally, how you're organized? Anybody?
So maybe I can start. As I mentioned before, we're like working as like we're cooperating with all of the like other Turkey's climate activist organizations, and so like I attend all of the like organization meetings and the process, but still sometimes I'm still like confusing because till the last day some certain things are not even like determined yet, because sometimes it's hard to do like such organizations when the city hall and most majority of the people are not really interested in the system. But anyways, we are like planning to do it in a like open area on a like ferry and bus stations where like there will be a lot of people, and for people in Turkey, it's actually Barbaros Meydanı. So yeah, and we thought that before we start there, the people coming from the other part of the Istanbul would like they would start with a protest on a ferry where we thought no one will stop us since like they can't get on the ferry, and we will just wave our like placards and do our slogans and all. Then we thought we will start with an also in the like where when we get the area, we thought that we will like just come, we will all come together and just continue to protest, and then we will read the presses. We have like each person from every organization, and from Climate for Turkey, I'm the one who will read the press. So after the presses, we thought about like open mics where people can like they share their ideas and concerns and maybe some solutions and wishes. Then we organize some like visual activities for people, for the other people to both enjoy and raise awareness. Like we have real nice costumes. Maybe some of you know from Turkey that we have a turtle and dinosaur and also panda. They're actually really sweet, and you know, like there's a visual image of like sixth extinction and all the like loss of biodiversity. And we have activities like drawing a tree all together, but like, you know, everyone drawing a part, and when it come together it becomes a tree or something, or maybe just a like wish wall, or people writing their wishes and ideas about the climate crisis. And we will like just exhibit all of them together. So yes, basically we have like activities like that. And other than that, we invite some singers for us, you know, like sport, and also creating a fun atmosphere. Other than that, I believe when we stop like reading our presses, we will start to walk to an park area, other than like the area where like the station area. And we will also scream our wishes there too, and what we want now from the accountable ones. So I will like that. It will go like that. I hope I didn't miss anything. But as I said, we are not even sure what will happen till the last day. So yeah.
Yeah, even if you missed, we will see on 25th, right? So
Yeah.
Thank you, Gökçe. And anybody else?
Yes, I can tell about what we will do.
Okay, Liv.
So yes, on the 25th we will have a big march, a school strike in the capital city of the Netherlands, which is Amsterdam. So it will be around the center of the city. Like we will start at there's just a few big squares, and usually most of the marches will be from the first square to the next one, and then so it's a school strike. So students are like either skipping school, or sometimes school also lets them go. It kind of depends which school you go to go to the strikes, and then after it usually we'll have like some speakers, and sometimes there are also people like musical acts on different kinds of things, and just also like places for people who are interested in also joining the movement to like meet people from the movement and learn new things about our movement, about the climate crisis, about what we want. Yeah, so I would say that's like what we will do for the 25th.
Thank you. Thanks, Liv. Okay. Switzerland.
Yes, I can
Okay.
make a resume. Yes. So on the 25th, we will have also different demonstrations in some cities. We usually have like every big city that has a local group that organizes it does a march. And actually for the topic, we have people not profit, but also this new gas power stations, because the Swiss government like they're telling that the energy will like run out of energy. They create this big like, I don't know, they're saying like, oh, we'll not have enough energy in the future, and maybe we need to build new nuclear plants, and also like they're considering gas power stations, which is like such a big step back, and we're already super back, so it's really terrible. So that's also going to be a topic for the demonstrations, and there will be local actions also, but I don't know about them in detail.
Yes, I think there will be demonstrations in 5 cities. And yeah, we are also connecting this thing with the new gas power plants to like the fact that we are importing a huge amount of our gas from Russia, and that we're actually financing Putin's war, which is like a very recent topic. And yeah, we like, this is, I think, like our main topic of the strike. But of course we also like, I think not every region, but most of the region also have the people not profit. And yeah, I think that's it.
And in our city, where Maret and I come from, we organize a bike demonstration, where also maybe people from Germany will then join, because we really live near the border, so that we really go not against, but just past the borders, and connect internationally already. I wanted to share my screen, but technically it's not.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I need 2 minutes. Okay, Marvin?
Yes, sure.
Maybe by that time I can share also our topic, because like I forgot, and I was like always focused on what we will do since we were so busy about them. So our topic is also like with yours, is like fossil fuels. I mean, like Turkey has a really nice nature, and if they really like manage their investments, we can really use renewable energy sources. but we're using, fossil fuels and not really taking effort and time for the renewable sources. So our demands will be in that way.
And now I can
Yes.
share my screen, so I will do so.
Teşekkürler Gökçe bu arada.
So yeah, this is just a graphic which Maret made. We tried to also connect to people who don't have the right to vote in Switzerland, and these are like over 1/3 of all people are not allowed to vote, like everyone under 18 and without Swiss citizenship. And we also saw that even at our demonstrations, not many people, like less privileged people, are not joining our demonstrations. But it also is like a language barrier even. So we tried, this was the first time we now try to also reach other people to join our demonstrations, not only age, but from different, origins and everything, and of course also in German. But yeah, I just wanted to show this approach, and because it's also new for us.
Thank you, Marvin. Thanks a lot. So anybody wants to add something before we will pass to the questions part of our participants?
I don't want to add anything, but I just want to comment on what Marvin showed us. I actually really like the idea, and I feel like it's really demonstrates how global climate activities are. I mean, like I surprised when I just saw Turkish there. So thank you for that. I mean, like it shows how we're not only working in our countries, but trying to make a difference globally.
Yes, but we also have to say that it's the start. It's only one post, and like still all of our speeches are in German, and really it's sometimes difficult the language to understand. And yeah, it's the beginning. And I think these were just the 5 most common languages spoken in our city, and Turkish is one of them. So. But thank you.
Okay, and from our participants, anybody would like to contribute, add something, or ask something to our speakers here? If so, I can have the questions from the chat part. Let me check.
Maybe I can also add something I have
Yes,
in my
please.
mind. Like when it comes to international activism, I think we tried many times and still are not that far in connecting globally in our movement, also content-wise and exchange-wise. There's so much knowledge that's what we don't manage to give further, and also resources to really coordinate with each other to have a bigger impact, and to also like have people connecting people internationally. These resources and energy is often not here, so it's really difficult to do these projects, although it is like people are not also in the movement are not seeing the importance of connecting internationally, even I would say, because and then when you are connected, you also see more perspectives and new approaches and everything. Yes, although, and like it's really, we can only win when we think global and act local, and when we also act globally and think local.
the thing is, as I talk to you through this meeting, the thing is, I think that's my personal idea, of course, but for being a global activist, climate activist, it's not, of course it is important, but not so important to be all in contact. But the thing that you said about, you all said about these issues is quite, how can I say, hope-giving, because to be aware of the others is so important. So as I can see from this meeting that you're all aware of not only you're interested with your own countries, own territories, but you're aware of all the global problems and circumstances. So this is hopeful. So, and I think it's a good beginning, and it will have its way. And now we have a question from one of our participants from Thailand, Tosun. I will translate it for you guys. Okay, he wants to know what you want the people to ask for the politicians, the people and the power. What should people ask from the politicians, the governors, the lawmakers to do? What's your request?
Just for clarification, because someone sent, I think, a translation.
It's another question.
Oh, it's another chat. Okay, then.
Yeah, it's another question, not this one. Okay.
So first of all, we would like them to stop neglecting science and scientists and us, because they keep trying to not hear us, even though we were talking more and more powerful and louder. I think they really are focused on what are they doing now, and their profit, not the people, not the earth, and of course not our voices. So we would like them to be aware of what's going on with earth, and I'm really sure that they're aware of what's going on, but them to take action. There are many ways. We mentioned about fossil fuels, and they can even start with only waste management and all. So yeah, but just most of them are they don't even do something. Yeah, they don't even initiate to start do something. So my first request will be from them to hear us and the science, and just stop neglecting and ignoring us.
Thank you, Gökçe. Anybody else who would like to add something?
I would like to add,
Yes, please.
I mean, to this also, that yes, the government should definitely be recognized the just catastrophic problem that the climate crisis is. I feel for example, here in the Netherlands, a lot of political parties right now are kind of saying yes, okay, it is a problem, but they don't because they have to say it so people will vote for them, but not really, and their solutions are not at all enough. I would say so. I think we should ask the government and continue to make clear to the government how just huge and enormous this problem is, and that there should be a lot more action than there is right now, and also more international action, and that they have to come with much faster and more radical plans than they are coming with right now.
Thank you, Liv. Anybody else who would like to answer that question, or we can pass to the second one?
I would like to say something also.
Okay, please, Meta.
So I think it's really interesting also just to say like the second one. I think it's also a big discussion in the climate strike in Switzerland if it makes sense to demand the governments. Because the second question is like, what can we do as citizens? Or I think some people believe that it makes more sense to like organize, not with the government kind of, or to organize ourselves with the citizens. And also there was some initiatives. There's like, we wrote a plan, like it's called Climate Action Plan, and it has different demands for the government in every sector of how they can reduce the emissions, but it's only, I think, inside of our country. I'm not sure. Also some aspects outside. And I think there was also an initiative that it was called, how can I say, like it's for big corporation to take responsibility. And it was, the idea was that every corporation that like is in Switzerland, like the headquarter, will have to have like human rights and the like Swiss rights in all the production. So if they have like if they make clothes in, I don't know, in Bangladesh, then they will need to have the same, like the workers need the same rights as in Switzerland. And I think those kind of things are what we should demand. This initiative, unfortunately we didn't pass this initiative, but I think things like this are important.
Thank you, Meta. Okay, anybody would like to answer Seher Gündüz Aslan's question, because Meta, she answered already, and thank you for that. She asked, what can we do to stop climate crisis as citizens, but not the government? So anybody who would, by the way, Meta, I work in a textile company, and thanks to you, all of us, that because of all these pressures, I think it worked. And now all the contracts that are coming to us is asking that from us, that we have to give all the workers the same rights as in Switzerland or in another European country. So all the rights and environment and sustainable, you need to use sustainable energy and recycled products. So it's working. Okay, anybody who would like to answer? Liv?
I can.
Gökçe, please. No, it's okay. Okay, it's fine.
Okay. Okay, so I can first like make a comment on what you said. I'm really thrilled to hear what you said, because like the fashion industry is one of the most, the harmful. They have the most harmful effect on the environment. So I'm really happy to hear that in Turkey some places like yours are really working on more eco-friendly products and all. To answer that question, I believe that like even though the massive changes come from the government and the industries and factories and all, I believe that the individual work has also a very big place on that one. For example, where I really understand the importance of individual work is was when I was researching for the plastic pollution in oceans, because like in oceans there are really big plastic islands and soups, and their collab amount is like bigger than Europe, and bigger than Europe. They're really big, and majority of the waste in there are mostly our daily life plastics, like our packaging things, or you know, how, I mean, like everything. We're using plastic for everything. And when I was like researching for that topic, I understand how actually not only the government or factories and industries, but also the individual behavior of humans are affecting the environment. So my suggestion would be like reducing waste. I mean, like I always believe that like before recycling, we should reduce our waste, because even though we recycle them, they're not like fully recycled. Even though the I'm not really sure about the word, but it's bioçözünür. Maybe Nuray, you can help me out. Biodegradable, maybe. I'm not really sure. Is it? Okay. I saw some noddings. So yes, so even though even that products are like not you know, they can't decay on nature by themselves, we also have, you know, we need some recycling industries and processes which we don't really have the recycling culture in Turkey and overall in world. I mean, like some countries are really successful at that, but overall we don't really have the best recycling culture. So my suggestion would be reducing the waste as much as we can and redesigning our you know, daily habits and find some alternatives to our actions.
Thanks, Gökçe. Thank you. Okay, there's someone who wrote something for you. It's not a question. Emine İyicioğlu Aydın says that you, young people, youngs, became hope for our world and for us. So she just wanted to say that to you. And I think there aren't any questions.
Can I still add something to the last question?
Yes, sure.
Yes, I think individual action can be important, but I think the most important thing that we can do as citizens is just to try and keep, you know, actually just keep this hope, like just use this hope to keep protesting and keep demanding the governments and the companies to change, and to keep, you know, having these conversations together, because like I think those are the most important things, because eventually it can't all come from like the individual changes that we make, but there has to be like a large systemic change, and the world really has to change to accommodate kind of the future that we're heading to right now, because like there are two kind of options. Either like, you know, we are able to solve the climate crisis, like there is already some harm that has been done that can be undone, but we can try to prevent as much as possible further harm from happening, or, you know, like even larger catastrophes than have happened already will happen. And I think the most important thing that we can do is keep protesting, keep doing our activism, keep listening to each other, keep having like these international conversations, so we can try to like create, you know, the like best possible future, I guess.
Thank you, Liv. Thanks a lot.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
I really agree with what Liv said, because I think that the individuals are not the problem. The problem are the big corporations and the governments, and they have a lot of power. So I think we are not strong enough as individuals, in my opinion. I think to be able to tackle the climate crisis, we have to act collectively, and we have to act together, and we have to like bring the power back to the people. And we can only address the big governments, the big corporations, if we are powerful as a group of people. And I also realized that when I'm like on the streets with thousands of people protesting, I feel so much more powerful than when I'm alone. And I think it really needs that. It really does. And something that we are trying to do in Switzerland is to build up like local groups in our neighborhood, and to try to connect with our neighbors and try to start projects really from the bottom up in our cities, in our quarters, and try to change something together there. And I think, of course, sometimes it fails, or the groups don't actually do something that actually helps, but you still like get a feeling of organizing yourself and getting to do activism together in your neighborhood and changing things. And I think if you have groups of that like all over the world, and groups of people organizing and starting protests together, we are really powerful as people, and then we can actually change something. So yeah,
I certainly agree, and I always think that I mean, like nowadays the youth and us are more interested in that topic and concerned about it than the adults. And sometimes I feel like sad about that, but then I realize that today's youth is actually, you know, tomorrow's adults and all. And I think, you know, raising awareness and spreading the spirit to our environment and, you know, the people are to our neighborhood and all is, I think, like really creating a difference. Even like even changing someone's idea is even it's just one person or two, is I feel like it's important, because like when I change someone's opinion, they change someone else's, and as you said, we are all together are like even more powerful, and we can really create a difference together. And I believe Marvin want to add something.
Yes, if you go into the supermarket and don't want to buy waste with your food, that's something like this waste that is connected to the food. That's like if you went to a market, or like the whole time of history, you bought it in like these, just without packaging. But however, the same oil companies, or like European and Western companies that sell these products, are also exporting this waste as products, but then also again the waste that has been produced, which is devastating everything. However, if you really want to buy without waste, it's not possible for an individual to do so. So there's also again the responsibility of these companies to make it even possible to live to make a waste poor life possible.
Okay, I'm looking, and there aren't any other questions, guys. And there were some people who wrote in the chat part in English. If you have seen them, they all thank you, and they wish you luck in your effort, and this kind of stuff. Anybody who would like to add something or say the last things, maybe? Oh, okay, someone here by Miss Aslan. I shall share my sincerity. Okay, let me read Necmettin Pirinçoğlu's. He wrote something for you. Hi, everyone. Well, I have been invited to your meeting by Miss Aslan. I shall share my sincere feelings and support for your efforts and sensitivity for the climate issues. Seeing this quite young generation with the motivation make us feel quite happy and put us in easy position because we believe that they are ready to make difference to save our globe. Cheers and good luck. Okay, thank you. So, yeah, Marvin, please.
I also wanted to add already before that, like we started to get the feeling that also in Switzerland, especially, also the media and politicians calling us the climate youth. So all responsibility gets moved to also young people. So people also already at university thought, oh no, I can't get active in Climatestrike because they are too. I am already too old to do that, and this is where responsibility gets moved to young people. And already, if you only look at it technically, like in time, how much time do we have? It's not possible that all young people already get old until like the change has to be already happened when we are old or older. So it's I really see the thing of hope, like, but and this is also really nice if we can again spread hope to generations who already lost hope and now get it again, maybe because 30 years ago already people started to protest for environmental issues, for social issues, which are really like for social issues for thousands of years ago already, but they are all interconnected. And there I think it's really necessary that we can get all generations on board, because all generations are equally hit by the crisis. Everyone who lives in 10 years still will be, and also already now so many people are affected by the climate crisis, for which we are responsible for. Yes, I wanted to add this also to responsibility.
Thank you, Marvin. Yeah, we should be on board too, because I hope I will live for 10 more years. So, but of course, to see really, I agree with this thing that he wrote. It really gives hope to us. That's awesome, and it gives us courage and strength to start fighting again against that. So thank you for thanks a lot for everything. Anything else? Because I think we can close the meeting soon. If, of course, you want to say your last words, add something, make a comment, I'll be glad to hear.
So I'm sorry, maybe I have a question for everybody that wants to answer. I don't know. So also one thing I wanted to add is like, I don't know, I feel it's like very, I don't know, I feel like it's so important to see that so many people are already affected by this crisis and will be affected. And this is exactly this thing of like the global north and south. And like, yeah, it just scares me so much that like we don't have time for a lot of like long process. I think we just don't have time for it. And my question actually would be like, or I don't know if anybody will answer, kind of, you asked us how we feel about this like north-south question kind of, and yeah, I would be like interested in what you think that in global north, like what kind of activism we should do to also support like the most affected people and areas. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, was that question for me or for every participant?
For everybody that wants to answer, but you can all, I would be interested in your answer also.
Okay, for me, as I said to Marvin before, I think to be aware, that to see that you're all aware, in fact, what's going on, and that it's wonderful to see that you clearly understand the Hippocratic approach of the northern governments or corporations, if that you understand that clearly and you see that clearly, I think that's so important. And I think that's for now definitely enough, because it shows that you will put the pressure on the right target. So because you can see that, as we talked before, you see that, okay, they reduce their green gas emissions, they, how can I say, they use sustainable energy sources, renewable energy sources, blah, blah, all this stuff. But on the other hand, what they do to the southern countries is like, it's hypocritical so much. It's wonderful that to see that you see all of these circumstances, all these stuff that going on Earth. So I think for me at the moment, that was the answer of my question, that it shows that it can be, there can be a global activism. So, and now someone wants to make a suggestion, Mr. Taylan Tosun. Yes, we are listening. Taylan.
Çevirebilir misiniz?
Evet, şu an seni dinliyoruz. Please.
Ya
Çeviriye
konuşuyorum da soruyu o
ihtiyacın.
kadar iyi toparlamayabilirim. O yüzden sen şey yaparsan daha iyi olur Çiğdem.
Çiğdem şu an simultane çeviri yaptığı için bizimle olamıyor. Yani ardıl çeviri ister mi? Bence direkt İngilizce'de sorabilirsin istersen. Çok daha rahat olur.
O zaman ben İngilizce söylemeye çalışayım.
Tamam, okay.
You know, in countries like Turkey or in the other countries in the global south, maybe the reason that not many people are so occupied with the climate crisis is that there are more basic problems like the very heavy human rights violations and very heavy work conditions and the human and the very heavy problems of women in general, etc. So maybe I might propose, I might that you can somehow, as much as you can, of course, as much as you can give an attention to the problem of the global, to those problems of the global south, and try to make a correlation between these problems and the climate crisis. You know, this is this is very important. You know, because when you don't have enough food to make on the table tomorrow or the next month, so it is normal that your concern is not your immediate concern is not the climate crisis. So, for my proposal, my modest proposal.
Thank you, Taylan. And the thing is, we have enough food, and the thing is, we produce more than we need, and we consume more than we need. So, and some doesn't have anything, and some has more than they need. So, anybody who would like to say something about Taylan's suggestions?
I think you're really right, and I think this is one really important point that we didn't really talk about today. That's just like connecting the climate issues with social issues and feminist issues and racial issues that are so important and so interconnected with the climate crisis. And I think that's also something that is a part of this global South-North conflict. And I think that in the global North, we always should, like you said, we should always have this in our mind, that like so many struggles in the world are just part of this this system of oppression that has been going on for so many years, and that every day also, if we think about the climate crisis, that it's not a problem that is in the future and that we might one day have problems with, but it's a problem that's already started long ago and that it's here and now, and every day the problem is going on, and we should never forget this and always keep it in our minds.
Thanks, Maret. Anybody else?
Yes, I think I want to add like that this kind of disconnection between like the climate crisis and social problems should be a lot more central to our activism. I think, at least in the Netherlands, I feel like people are generally not really aware how the kind of global relationship and relationships, and also how social problems in different parts of the world and in the Netherlands itself are connected to the climate crisis. And I think we should create a lot more awareness about this, and make this a much bigger part of kind of international exactly. And I think actually that maybe the people not profit team is already a step in that direction, because we can connect the activism more also to the global North and global South thing. And because I think a lot of people who are new to activism in the Netherlands, for example, have no idea what those terms mean and have no idea about all these things. I think we should create a lot more awareness about this. Yeah.
Thank you, Liv. Thanks a lot. Yeah. Okay, what should we do? Maybe we should finish it because I can't see any other questions. And if you have anything else to say,
I can say some last words.
Okay, please, Gökçe.
So like a lot of people are still like living as we will always have tomorrows, but I don't think it's true. And I'm really happy that how my friends open up how we don't have a lot of time, because some people, I know that people, and they really believe that we have still like millions and billions of years to live, but Earth has a limited lifetime, and we are actually at the end of that lifetime. Even it's like a million of year, we are really at the end. And we are really happy to hear how people feel hopeful to see us working on saving our world. But it will be really nice if we all actually work on to save our world, because it's our world and it's our future. Maybe not all of us ours future, but I'm sure it's our children's future, and the animals and the plants and all. And I'm really happy to like met my friends from around the world, Switzerland and Netherlands. So yes, thank you all.
Okay, yeah, it was a great pleasure to have you all here tonight. Really, it was wonderful to meet you, and as I said, it was hopeful, and it gave us strength and for struggle. So thank you, thanks a lot. So
thank you so much for organizing it.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you so much
Good
for
night.
inviting
Yeah,
us.
Shamla.
Thank you. Good night. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
everybody.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.
İyi akşamlar, teşekkürler.